What's going on, YouTubers? This is Junior here with another random video. This time I'm going to show you guys how to make a homemade rocket for little or no money with things you might have around at home. Let's get started. What's going on? First things first, let's grab the index card and measure the rocket engine, leaving about 1/8 sticking out at the bottom for easy relaunching. Once you have that marked up, grab a ruler and draw a straight line and cut it out. Just to be safe, you might need some scissor experience for this step. Now, it's about that time to roll it up. This is where we install the paper clip to go over the top of the mount so the engine won't just shoot through the top of your rocket. I didn't use a paper clip because I couldn't find one. Once you got that together, just hot glue it shut. This is about what it should look like at this point. The body I have for this project is 40 inches, which is a little longer than I would like, so I cut it down to 32. You can also use a paper towel roll, which I prefer. All I had on hand was this Christmas wrapping paper roll. Alright, here I have to trace the diameter of the tubes so I can cut them out to put over the mount. This is what's going to hold the mount inside of the body of the rocket. You have to do this twice. Now I'm cutting a square around the circle so it can be easier for me to cut with the scissors. But if you want to cut this fast, you might need a little bit more experience than cutting a straight line. Now let's do that again. Now that you have both pieces cut out, place the mount on the center of a circle and trace it. Okay, now you're about done tracing this one. You're going to get ready and trace the next one too. Looking good. Now that we have a circle within a circle, it's time to remove the inner circle and let's make some empty circles. I know using an X-Acto knife would have been a lot easier, but like other things, this is all I had. Now fit it over the engine mount about a quarter of the way from one end. Now that you got that one on, you can do the same thing to the other one, or you could have done them both at the same time. Whatever you want to do is up to you. And just so you know, the tighter it fits, the better it is. Now that you got them spread out about a quarter of the way from each end, it's time to start gluing it. I had so much trouble with this glue gun. As you can see, I don't have the trigger, so I'm forcing it out. I know I made it look easy, but it's called editing. Just do like I did and put glue all over this. You don't want this thing coming loose at liftoff. Just make sure you put glue on all inside edges. And this is what this baby should look like when it's done. Oh yeah. Oh boy, it's time to install the engine mount. Once you put in the engine mount, it should fit like a glove. Okay, go ahead and take half of the mount back out and pour yourself a nice amount inside. Just try to get all around the inside edge and watch out because the tube will get hot on you, so watch where you place your hands. Now that you got that back in place, pour yourself a nice amount all around the bottom edge. Time to make the fins. For a visual look, I like to place the tube on the cardboard and draw it out like this. I know you can find a template for it, which will look better, but this is what I'm doing. Once you got your first fin sketched up and looking just as good as this, or maybe even better, go ahead and cut it out. Once you got that cut out, you can use that same fin to trace out for the next 2 or 3. Me, I'm just going to use 3 fins on this project, but I have used 4 in the past. To tell you the truth, I don't know if it would do anything different as in aerodynamics, but it's time to install them. I have this piece of paper that I have cut to fit the circumference of the tube. I measured it and divided it by 3. Once I marked it on the paper, I made the same marks on the tube. Now that I have those lines marked up, I'm going to add some glue and place the fins as straight as I can. You have to hold it in place for a few seconds to let the glue dry. You're going to do the same thing to the next 2 fins. I wasn't too worried about how crooked it was going to be after I stood it up, because you can always trim the bottom of the fins depending on which way it's tilting. Oh my, the parachute! For the parachute, I used the biggest, roundest thing I had. Yes, a trash can. You just need to trace it and cut it out. You're going to need to cut 5 pieces of string about 36 inches long. Just start by cutting a slit on the edge of the parachute about a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch from the edge. Okay, the trick here is that there is no trick. All you have to do is place a string through the slit and tie a knot. Now that you have that knot in place, get yourself a piece of tape and place it over the knot and slit that you just made. Make sure you don't have any sticky parts of the tape showing, as that may cause a crash landing if your parachute doesn't open properly. Now, you're going to do the same thing a total of 5 times. I didn't measure any of this, I just eyeballed each of the tie downs. For me, I personally think this parachute is going to be a little too small for the size of this rocket, but I only wasted a total of $4 to make it, and that trash can was the biggest circle I had. Now, I'm about to fold the parachute. So I fold it in half, then I fold it in half, then I fold it in half. Now get your string together and tie a knot at the end and cut the little extra off. It's time to make the shock cord. This is what's going to connect the parachute to the body of the rocket. All you have to do to link the rubber bands together is put one over the other, grab the two middles, and pull. Now, you got to do the same thing about 7-8 times. I think I used about 8 rubber bands for this. Now that you got the shock cord made, it's time to install this parachute. This is where you're going to have to connect the shock cord to the end of the string on the parachute. Once you have them together, you're going to need a piece of paper. I'm using a piece of an envelope. Just hot glue the connected ends to the paper and fold it twice. Now that you're past this point, go ahead and pour yourself a nice amount of glue inside the Easter egg. Place the paper and hold it down till the glue dries. Now flip your rocket over and measure about 1 inch from the top and cut a hole enough to slide the loose end of the shock cord through. Once you got that hole cut, slip the end of the shock cord through that hole and start tying knots until you are unable to pass it back through the hole. Just to be on the safe side, I added a little bit of extra security glue just to make sure this bad boy isn't coming loose anytime soon. Recovery wadding. What is this? This is so the hot ejection gases won't damage the parachute. Just place them inside the body. I'm guessing location doesn't matter as long as it's between the motor and the parachute. Step 9. It's almost over. Once you got your parachute folded up, start by inserting the rubber bands first and then folded up parachute. Now it's about that time for the launch lug. I started by making a mark halfway up the side of the rocket and added hot glue gun to it. Then I placed the tube of a pen in place. Placement is important. Do not place it where it would be in the way of the fins or in the way of the tied down rubber bands on the top of the rocket. I added some extra glue to the sides for more durability. You know, this is one of the most important parts of the rocket. Without this launch lug, your rocket probably wouldn't go as straight as it should. That was the last step. Now you have a complete rocket. If you want to make this monster look more serious, try by adding a fresh new paint job to it. Or just keep it nice and simple in cardboard brown. Well, now you've seen how simple and cheap it is to make your own homemade rocket. Go out there and try it out for yourself. Be creative, be careful, and I'll have the launch video coming soon. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more of my random videos. And once again, thanks for watching. Junior signing out.